Hello there and welcome back to Last Cast. You're finding us on the canal today. What we're going to do is exactly the same as we did in the last episode that we did on the river. We're going to use the same rod, same tackle and gear, same spinners. So we've got the sort of reflex abus, 12 grams, all different shapes and colours, some little jigs and also some slightly bigger stuff. I've also brought the little size ones, mepses, which again on the river caught us a few little perch. The intention is to try and get some bigger ones. What we're going to do is basically exactly the same as we did on the river the other week, but we're going to do it on the canal. So it's a direct comparison of using the river tackle on here. So it's the same Spro rod, same Fire Tiger on there, wire trace, braid, exactly the same setup. Net, obviously, unhooking mat on the back and all the various sizes of pliers, etc. On the trace front, as I say, you can see got a wire trace on there. Although we're after perch, it's a good thing to have them with you. The main reason being is that before Bob's got here this morning, I was basically having a wander around, killing a bit of time, and managed to pick up a little pike. Now that little pike had that big spinner inside its mouth, big hooks on it. Now the thing that I noticed straight away is it's got a tiny little bit of coarse line on there. I don't know whether you can pick that up on the camera. There must be 10 pound, 12 pound, no wire trace, no nothing. And that poor pike, I mean, it was only a couple of pound, if that, was swimming around with that inside its mouth. Had I not caught it, that could have stayed there for some time. It's been there for some time because it's managed to squash the hooks down on one side. So again, please, it's just common sense. If you're fishing for perch, there will be pike in the area. Put on a little wire trace. You know, it doesn't have to be anything huge. I mean, when I'm drop shotting, I even with the little jigs put on a little wire trace. Don't on the fluorocarbon because you're in the lock and all the rest of it, but wire trace, and then it just saves things like that. As I say, had I not caught that pike this morning, that would have still been in it, and it had stayed there until the hooks rotted out because they're all barbed. So yeah, do us all a favour and just put a wire trace on. As I say, the intention is that we're going to start off here. We're going to leave one of the cars here and drive up to the top of the canal. We're going to walk our way back down, fishing all the way with the various. As I say, the main one's probably going to be the Fire Tiger Abu, but sort of coupled with that, because we're on the canal and there's the locks, I'm probably going to be using some of these little jigs a little bit more than I did on the river, because they're handy to drop into the locks and just jig along the bottom. And you know, as you've seen from some of the previous videos, we've picked up quite a few perch doing that with the drop shots, etc. We've got the other mepses as well. So you know, basically we've got exactly the same tackle that we had last week, exactly the same setup on the same rods. We're just going to have a wander and see what the difference is. As I say, last week on the last episode that we did, we caught in pretty much every peg, as you've seen from the vid. So you know, good from that aspect. We've had some reasonable perch out of here, but it's a funny canal. If they're switched off, they're switched off. So we'll get packed up, jump in the cars, drive up the other end, and then we'll fish our way back down. So we'll get going and see what's what. But remember, wire traces, any kind of lure fishing, put a wire trace on. Obviously, if you're talking bigger lures and bigger pike, then as you've seen on some of the other vids, I use 100-pound solid titanium traces sometimes, but on this instance, it's just a lightweight titanium trace. Right, we'll get going and we'll see you on the bank. Right, we're at first swim. We're up at the marina. Boats are further down here, so we're going to spend probably an hour or so here, sort of working our way down. Do the usual. I mean, on canals, and as you always do with lures, it's that fan technique of, you know, casting and covering the water. So you can do it from that point of view. I'm going to start off down the bank here, see what we can do. So let's get cracking and see if we can find ourselves some perch. Little flick there just to get the spinner spinning. Slowish retrieve because I want to get it relatively deep, because there's quite a bit of colour in the canal at the moment. And again, I'm just bringing it along past me, because you've got to remember, could be a fish down there. So another one down. Seems to be going down the right kind of depth. And again, little flick just gets that spinner spinning. You can see and feel the resistance as it's going round. I want to try and get one a little bit closer to the wall if I can, but maybe not that close because I've just cast it into a tree down there. There we go. Right in the edge. Got it where I wanted it in the end. Right, going to try down the other side now. Right, let's get it out to the deeper bit a little bit. Because we've got 12 grams on here, I'm not leaving it too long because it's a canal, so it's only a few feet deep, unlike the river we were fishing last time, where we had spots that were going down to 30 foot. As I say, unfortunately there is a bit of colour in it because there's been a few boats through. Again, keeping the tip down low, holding that rod a little bit different so that it doesn't bring the lure up in the water. If you had a jig on the bottom, you'd have the rod tip up just so you could feel it bouncing. It's a little bit of a snag or something in there, just I've felt it a couple of times as the spinner's gone over it. So we're working our way around. So I've now done that to 3/4, so I'm just going to go a bit further across this time. Again, if you're not sure it's spinning, just give it a jerk. You can feel the resistance. Especially when it's coloured like this, you're looking for the visual attractions, but you're also looking for the vibration. Hence the reason for spinners. Right, let's get across. We've got a nice load of weed and stuff on the other bank there. Bit of a money cast there. Or not. Done the same spot a couple of times because there's a corner there with a tree in it and a nice little overhang. Ideal for someone to just sit under it. Again, when you're casting up to things, just have your hand over the reel. You feel the line going out, you can watch it, and then it looks as if it's going to go into a tree or something. You just put your hand on the reel stops the lure travelling. Oh, just had a knock then. I think that was a perch right under my feet. Didn't feel like a pike. As we'd noted on the river, the perch takes are a lot more, they're violent, but they're a lot more gentle than the pike. I could have followed it right across, and then it's just, as I've been lifting it, just knocked it. So because it's coloured, I couldn't see it, but it felt like a perch. Right, I've just moved down a little bit further. I'm going to try down here and then over, but there's some streamer weed over the other side, so let's see how we go. There's a bit of a snag there where I've just cast up to. A branch or something sticking out the water, so let's see what we got. Bring it right up the bank here. It's the old adage, everybody casts across to the other bank, but this bank's the same as the other bank. If you were over there, you'd be casting to this one, so always worth a few casts. Let's go down the bank again. Canals, I always like to start off with the bank casts before I start casting across. Right, that's this bank covered. What I'm going to do now is work along the brambles and then over. Exactly opposite me here, there's some streamer weed. So I'm going to start over there and then work my way up. Again, because the water's very coloured, we've gone for sort of highly visible fire tiger spinner. If it was a bright clear day, we'd probably go for something darker so you get the silhouette, but we want the vibration and the colour today. I've just moved up a bit and just going to have a cast across to this little feature. Again, I've still got my orange jig on, so I'm just going to let it hit the bottom. Just fishing it deep, see if there's anything down low. In all honesty, when we get moving from the marina, I think I'll just stick to the spinner. Flick up this bank and then I'm going to put the spinner back on. All right. Meant to do that, so got it nice and close. Right, time for the spinner. It's the reason you bring a couple of jigs with you when you're spinning as well, just so you can feel the bottom, so to speak. So back to the Fire Tiger Reflex. This is the one that caught us most on the last session, hence the reason I'm probably going to stick to this more. Now I've just tried out the bottom. Again, if you're fishing up to boats, don't be casting right up to them, because you've got to remember that ultimately it's somebody's home or somebody's pride and joy, and the last thing they want is you smashing it with your lures or smashing it with your dead bait. So just be respectful. Getting a bit brighter, which might help us. I mean, ironically, when we were on the river the other week, it was a really bright sunny day, and yet we were bagging up on perch, which you wouldn't have thought. Sometimes puts a little bit more colour into your lure and the action, etc. So move up the bank here. I don't know whether you can see it, but the bridge above me, a couple of years ago when we had the winter floods, and this whole area was devastated, and that bridge was totally destroyed. They've taken them probably 12-18 months to rebuild it. Right, let's move up. I think we're struggling here, but we've got a fair bit of water to cover yet, so famous last words. Right, we've just crossed over the marine and walked down. We're going to just walk this stretch now and just sort of stop. Nice feature over there, we've got a little bit of an inlet on the stonework and then some nice reeds and overhanging bushes, etc., and then we're going into a bridge here, so Let's have a few casts, see what we can't catch. Broken my old rule there. I'm just going to have a couple of casts down the bank rather than going straight to the feature as I did. Another tip on the canal, keep looking at your feet for dog dirt. Right, back to the feature. Oh, right in. Right where I wanted it. Getting some good casts in some good places. We ain't catching no fish. I'm going to come out of the feature now onto the wall, stone wall. Good holding point for perch. Oh, and we're in. We're in. It feels like it could be a pike, but we will see. Yeah, it is. Little pike. Get my net. Again, I'm not going to bother with the landing net. I'm just going to keep it in the net. Sorry, not going to bother with the landing mat, should I say. Just nice and lightly hooked. Again, not a monster, but it's a fish. And I think, as I've said to you before, let's get it the other way around. Get a better look at him. As I've said to you before, perfect little fish. Grow up to be a 21 day if it's left alone. Get the lure out the net. Again, keeping the net off the ground. Fish welfare and all that. Let's pop it back in. There we go. So we're off the mark. But we haven't blanked. What we want now is a perch that would eat that. Hey? Stir them up, get them feeding. I'm in. Little pike. What have I done with it? I'll hand it out, I think. Yeah, little one. There we go. Simplest way to release it. Oh, I think, yeah, we're in. We're in. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's a pike. Let's see whether we can actually land this one. We can. And we're in. Lovely markings. Get that out. There we go. Just a tiny one. Little one.
What is it?
You can see his teeth.
What is it?
It's a baby pike.
Oh, look at its sharp teeth.
Lovely little fish.
Do you chuck them back then if
Oh
they're
yeah,
babies?
they put them always put them back.
Wow.
Take a picture and then put them back to grow on.
Thank you.
Don't like fish? Take a picture, put them back. Right, quick tip. Even happens to brilliant casters like me. I've just cast my lure into the tree opposite. What tends to happen is people will just yank it out, and the problem you've got is 9 times out of 10 your hooks will come free, but if your wire trace gets wrapped around a branch, you're stuffed. You're pulling for a break then. So I've cast it up into the tree. The trick is to wind it slowly, and the other good thing is because I've got the bobble on, you saw the little stopper bead, it helps to push it up and over the branch, and what you're trying to do is get it so you can actually see the wire trace free of the tree before you do anything. Now it doesn't always work, but we'll give it a bash and see what the score is, because we're straight up in the top of the tree. See, I'm just winding it slowly, and there we go. That's how you do it. If we'd have yanked at that, it goes wrapping itself around the branch, and you don't retrieve it. Obviously, because it's been up the tree, we're checking it because it's tied over itself. But because of that stopper bead, again, that helps it. You just pull it up to the branch. Once you see that you've got your wire trace out of the tree, you're in a much better position to then get the rest of it out. Did that on purpose, by the way, as well, because Bob said that I had to do it. I don't usually cast into trees. Well, not much. Right, we're done. We've fished our way back down. We've covered about 3.5–4 miles of canal, and we've had, I think, 4 micro pike. So it's been nowhere near as productive as our last session. I think it's been against us. The canal's been like chocolate, and it's, you know, bright sunshine as well. We've not really seen a single perch. I think I had one knock up there that felt perchy, but everything else has been just tiny little micro pike. And it's pike we've caught have been more, we've dropped the lure on them rather than actually sort of taking it past and got them feeding. But hey, that's fishing. Just shows that I suppose the thing to learn from this is don't fish the canals, they're crap, just fish rivers. Only joking. But yeah, if you like what you see, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Last Cast.